Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and today's video is called Official Vonage Business Mobile App Review 2020. So, for those of you who frequent my channel, you know that even though we represent every single voice over IP service provider in the United States, you know that we have a soft spot for Vonage Business. This is partly because at Rich Technology Group, we've used Vonage Business for almost 12 years. So we are a very happy customer of the platform. And also, I personally use the Vonage Business mobile app. Now, I'm going to reference in this video, even though we expect this video to be bigger and better and more detailed and more informative, we did do a verbal Vonage Business mobile app video back in 2019, but this time I've actually got a screen share tool so that I can show you the Vonage Business mobile app. I'm going to go through every single feature that this thing offers in depth. I'm going to talk to you about, oh, you got to love these ads with this little thing that I'm using, but we've got 15 seconds, so whatever. I'm going to talk to you and go in depth about the different features it offers, why we like the Vonage Business mobile app, and then what types of businesses we've helped use it, and so on and so forth. So sorry about that. You know, it comes with the territory of free apps as advertising. So anyways, let's jump right into this. So first of all, before we go into the mobile app review, I want to be clear. If you go to the Google Play Store, and I'm actually using my phone here, so apologies if I look away from the camera. I like to keep eye contact with you guys, but that's kind of hard to do and work a phone. If you go to the Google Play Store and you search for Vonage, some other options will come up, like the Vonage Business Mobile Call Video Text. That's actually for Vonage Residential, and then the Vonage Events thing below I think is for like employees. What you're looking for in the Play Store is the Vonage Business Cloud Mobile app, which is what you see right here, which of course I already have installed, but I'll pull it up just so you guys can see it. So this is basically the Vonage Business Cloud Mobile app. So this is what you're looking to install. Now, before we get into this review, I want to point out that people who already currently have Vonage Business, every single user that you have on the Vonage Business platform that has an extension, i.e. like their own voicemail, their own extension number, and their own direct dial number, they have access to this app for free. This is not an app that you have to pay extra for. This is an app that is available for every single user that has a legitimate account on the Vonage Business system. Whether you be an employee within a company or you be the owner of the company, if you have an account within your organization or someone else's, you have access to this app. So, anywho, let's see here. Okay, so I've already showed you the Play Store. What's in the app? Let's talk about some things that are actually in the app before we show this thing off. So, no spoilers, I guess we'll say. What's in the app is this app basically allows you to mimic your desk phone or a phone system on your Android or iPhone. What this means is that you can make and receive calls through this app as if you're on an actual legitimate phone system, which you are. It's basically an app that mimics what could otherwise be your Polycom, your Cisco, your Grandstream desk phone. So everything from being able to make calls out, take calls in, but it segregates everything from your cell phone. So for example, whenever someone calls me on my personal cell phone, I know that it is a personal call coming in, or if the Vonage Business app is the one that is popping up ringing saying, hey, you've got a phone call from this caller ID, I know that it's not a personal call coming into my cell phone. I know that it's a call that I need to answer. You know, Rich Technology Group, this is Prince speaking, versus, hey, what's up? This is Prince's personal cell or whatever. So this allows me the ability to be able to decipher between calls that are coming in from, say, my kids calling from school, or my wife, or personal contacts, or, you know, my neighbor or something like that. I'm going to show you how all that works as we get into this review, but we're going to go through this bad boy in nuts and bolts. Again, I'm using a free program, so if it pops up an ad or whatever, I'll try to cut it out of the video or just wait it out and talk about something else. But either way, I'm going to give you everything you need to know about this app and if it's right for your business or not. Let's see here. Okay, so getting into the options, let's open up the app. And the first thing we're going to go look at is calls. So what you see right here is my caller ID. This is my actual caller ID of incoming and outgoing calls from today. You can see a call I got yesterday from my mother-in-law, some other calls and things like that. But basically what this is this is a separate caller ID than the caller ID that is on my actual phone. My caller ID on my phone obviously is this. So this is like people that call me on my actual Android phone that call me that have access to my personal cell phone number, like my wife and some cab drivers and my accountant and the guy that I rent my house from, my landlord, and so on and so forth, and a neighbor, and some other things like the hospital and so on and so forth, my doctor and all that stuff. But in the Vonage Business app, oh, well, let's go back to the app there. In the Vonage Business app, these are calls that come into our main number, which is 804-767-2136, the number for Rich Technology Group that has always been published for the last 12 to 13 years that we've always had. And actually, I've had the number longer than that, but that's beside the point. So it's easy to decipher between the two. Later, I'm going to do a test call so you can see how it comes in comparison to how it comes in if somebody calls my personal cell. But anywho, so back into the calls, you can see that there's my all calls. I can also look at missed calls, and I can also look at parked calls, like calls that I put on hold that are in progress. Now, I'm not on a call because I'm obviously recording this video for you guys, but if I were on a call, you would be able to see that and pick up a parked call, just like you would be able to do on a regular desk phone, like a call center style desk phone or something like that. So if I want to look at more information for a call, I can click this here for mother-in-law. I can see call details. So I can see the number that she called from. I can also see, because I've got her listed as a contact, her home number as well as her work number. And I can decide if I want to call her back from those numbers as well. When I decide to call back from that number, it doesn't call from my cell phone. It calls through the Vonage Business Mobile app on my cell phone. So it means when the call goes out, it doesn't come up as Prince Rich personal cell phone caller ID number. It comes up as Rich Technology Group, which we have abbreviated in our caller ID, just RTG, and then my number, so that I'm always taking calls and making calls as the appearance of calling from my business phone system. Now, the other thing I want to point out is, because this app mimics your phone system and it allows you the ability to be able to make and take calls on behalf of your phone system through your number, if I place somebody on hold, they don't get like a regular old hold or whatever like on my cell phone. They get the actual hold music that we have that's customized within our Vonage Business phone system. So it is literally a virtual phone system. So moving on from calls, next thing on the agenda I want to talk about is contacts. Now, contacts is pretty neat because contacts has the ability to do a couple of things. If you look at this part that says all, what this is, where it says all is, it is all of my contacts. It's the ones that I have entered into the Vonage Business Contact System or have imported, but it also pulls and can query the contacts from my mobile cell phone. So like, whereas I showed you guys earlier, let's go back to my personal contacts for my cell phone. So this is my Google contacts that's synced with my cell phone. So this is like, people from Facebook, friends that I have locally, friends from overseas, old business friends, some are some old employees as well as old contacts. That Vonage Business Mobile app, which we're going to go back to now, this all thing in the contacts is doing one of two things. It's keeping a log of contacts that I've either added. It's keeping a log of contacts that came in through the caller ID. And it's also querying contacts from my cell phone itself. So whether you're using an iPhone and you're using something like iPhone contacts, like iContacts, or you're using Android, which usually syncs with Google Contacts, this thing will also pull those contacts in from there. So you can quickly go into here. You can quickly choose a contact. We'll choose one of our technicians that we have that's in Richmond, Virginia, that does IT consulting for our IT consulting department out that way, and I can see him. Now, that brings us to our next thing, because we're going to move away from contacts now. We've covered pretty much what you can and can't do in contacts. That brings us to the next best thing, which is probably the most popular feature that most people ask me about, not just about the Vonage Business mobile app, but about mobile apps in general when they contact me, is text messaging. A big thing nowadays that businesses want to be able to do is make and receive text back and forth to their employees, but also to their business contacts, like their clients and vendors or whatever it may be, without having to basically give out their personal cell phone number for texting. This is also really important for businesses that want their employees or their staff members to have the ability to be able to text message back and forth, but keep the text messages, which may be sensitive. They may have sensitive company data, or you just want it to seem more professional. Keep it within the company and have control over that in case an employee, you have issues with an employee and you need to recover those text messages, or you just want to keep it private so that it doesn't mix in with an employee's personal life or personal text messaging habits or contacts. That is what this is. So right here, I can actually go into here and I can actually see I can send text to contacts directly just like that. Now, you can do that with anyone. If you have their number, you can do that with anyone. Now, I want to show you guys one other thing. Let's go to the text messaging module in the Vonage Business app, and then we're going to get a little bit more in depth here, because this is another really important thing that's a big thing that I get asked. So as you can see, this is all of my text messages for more or less as long as I've had the app, because I don't really come in here and delete anything. So you can see I've got my dad who texts me on my business number. I've got my technician. I've got some customers here. Like you can see where Tammy text messaged me about some things, so on and so forth. My sister-in-law text messaged me. People that I, business colleagues and stuff, but people that I want to have the number. Now, what's most important about this that I want to show you guys is this. Let's go down to my dad's text message here. Now, let's see. Let's find one that's a little less sensitive there. That one's got a little bit of my dad's medical information, so I don't want to text that out. Okay, here's one here. An old customer and friend from Richmond, Virginia. So if I go to text her, if you look way down at the bottom down here, you can see that it says it's sending as our main number, 804-767-2136. I can choose to send out from the main number, or I can choose to send out from my direct inward dial number, which I don't really give out, but that is 804-741-0090. I prefer to text out from my 767 number because that's our main number that's published, and that number is just, it's our main number and the number that we've always given out for years. Now, the reason I wanted to show you guys this is for this reason, and this is something that I get a lot of calls about in regards to not just Vonage Business's mobile app, but mobile apps and VoIP service in general. There's a lot of people out there these days that what I like to call serial entrepreneurs, that they may be small, but they're small and mighty, and they might run more than one business under the same roof. This, coupled with Vonage Business's backend platform where you configure all this, allows for you to be able to have the ability to not only text back and forth, but also send and receive calls from more than one number on the mobile app. The other thing that's nice about this is Vonage Business has a free feature included with their service with all accounts called Call Tag. It allows you to tag any numbers that you have in the system with a name or something like that. So for example, if Melissa called me, this one that you see here, if Melissa Davis Harris called me and say she called into my main business number, I could create a tag that says main business or says telecom company. If I had a separate business that was, let's say, widget company, XYZ, but it used a separate number and I have that number in the Vonage Business system, I can put a call tag on that number that says widget company XYZ. What that means is when she calls in, the call will come up. The normal caller ID with who she is and her number will come up, but another information in the caller ID will show up on my mobile app that in parentheses either says RTG Telecom or widget company XYZ. And I know to answer the phone, RTG Telecom, this is Prince speaking, or widget company XYZ, this is Prince speaking. For some of you who are watching this video, that may not sound like a very important feature, But there are a lot of people out there that run multiple companies that can't afford to have a separate phone system for every company. With Vonage Business Mobile app coupled with their platform, you can run virtually unlimited companies under their platform with a separate number for each company and take all of the calls to this one mobile app on your phone and know what number the person is calling before the person called, hence what company or service they called about, and know how to answer the phone. Very, very powerful feature for those of you who are watching that run multiple businesses that would like to give your businesses, a new phone system and also mobility. So we're kind of done with text messaging. Let's see here. Oh, and I do want to point out that this text messaging that you see is separate from the text messaging on the phone. It is the business text messaging for Rich Technology Group within the system. So let me see here. If I was to go to my text messaging, if I was to go to the text messaging on my phone, you can see that I've got a text message from a James McLeod. This is a personal friend. Text message from about my son, and some things like that, and some other personal stuff that has nothing to do with business. This is totally separate from my Vonage Business Mobile app's text messaging. So when I text out on this, it comes up as my business numbers. Whereas when I text out on my personal cell phone, it comes up obviously as my personal cell phone number. So the two are completely segregated, as we discussed. Moving on. The last thing that I want to touch on before I go into some pros and cons about the app is the voicemail. Now, for those of you who may or may not know, all voice over IP service providers, i.e. Vonage, RingCentral and Xtiva, the list goes on and on and on, they all have visual voicemail capability. They all have voicemail to email capability, whereas you get like a voicemail in an MP3 to your email. With the Vonage Business Mobile app, you get what's called visual voicemail. So this is literally when somebody leaves me a voicemail, not only do I get it on my two phones, and I want to point that out really quick. I don't just purely use the mobile app. I actually have a Yealink W48P cordless phone. This is an older cordless phone, but I love it to pieces. This is a cordless IP phone that I have programmed with Vonage Business. And I also, across my house, on the other side of the house, I'm in my office right now, but in my master bedroom, I also have a Polycom VVX300, which is also connected to Vonage. So when somebody calls me, all three of those phones ring. My mobile app on my cell phone rings, and also this cordless phone rings, so that no matter where I am in the house, if I've got it on me, I can get it, as well as my Polycom VVX300 rings also. So the beauty is I've got kind of a follow me setup kind of going on, where no matter where I'm at, I can take the call. If somebody leaves me a voicemail, I not only get the voicemail on my phones, just like you would with any other business phone system, I get a voicemail dropped to my email, but I also get the same voicemail sent here to the mobile app. The mobile app has a separate voicemail module where I can go in, I can see the voicemails, I can listen to the voicemails, and I can also see the information and call the person back or text them back, assuming that they called from a cellular phone. So for example, let's see here. I'll actually play one so you guys can hear it here.
Hey, Prince, Mike Short, driving back from Charlottesville. So, you know what I do when I'm driving? I'm either listening to a podcast or I've got a YouTube player. So, hey, Sean Cannell with Think Media has something coming up in Vegas. It's his third year for doing
So anywho, basically that's visual voicemail. I can play it, I can rewind it, I can fast forward it, I can even forward this to somebody if I needed to. The other thing that's really nice about Vonage's visual voicemail in their mobile app is I can click on information and I can call that person right back, or I can text them. I can choose to text this person, or I can go back and I can directly call them. Now, I'm going to do a test call right quick so you guys can actually see what it looks like when a call comes in. So I'm going to back out straight to my desktop, and then I'm going to make a call right now. So I'm going to close out some of these windows I've got open. All right, here we go. So I'm going to call myself. We use an auto attendant, so I'll have to get through the auto attendant right quick. So watch. So as you can see, this is a call coming in from Rich Technology Group. I'm going to go ahead and answer it. Oh, whoop. Oh, I answered it on the wrong phone. Let's do that again, shall we? I need to answer it on a mobile phone, duh. So anywho, we'll try that again. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so now it's a call coming in, not on my cell phone, but through the mobile app. So I'm going to answer this call. Let's mute everything here. So we don't get any terrible feedback. So as you can see now, this is a call that's come in on Rich Technology Group. It says Rich Technology Group coming through. Obviously, it's me calling myself. But as you can see, the call came in through the Vonage Business Mobile app, not through my phone. So I know to answer it, Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group. Now from this screen, I can go to my dial pad. I can dial another person to bring somebody else on three-way. Let's back out of that. Uh-oh. Oh, let's hide it here. I can hit this to put on an earpiece or go speakerphone if I want to. I can place this person on hold, and when you place them on hold, they actually get hold music from my business phone system. Let's see if that'll actually transmit through here. It probably won't. Let's just try it. Yeah, only the other person can hear that, not me. Actually, I'll let you guys hear it. Bear with me here. So that is the actual hold music from our business phone system that you are hearing that is coming through the system. So let's put that back on mute. Okay. So let's take that person off hold. I can transfer the call. This is because, remember, I'm calling through the Vonage Business Mobile app, which is literally a business phone system. It's a virtual business phone system. So if you look here, I don't want to transfer the call, but if you see that one that I've highlighted there, I can actually transfer that to another person, like my technician, Alexander, that I showed you earlier, like my administrative assistant, Linda, that is also in the Vonage Business phone system. Whether they are using the mobile app or a physical phone, it doesn't matter. It's still part of the Vonage Business platform, so it still transfers the call as if it is a legitimate phone system, because it is. I can also park the call, as you can see here, for somebody else in the system to find it and pick it up, whether that be from their mobile app or from their actual physical phone, like a Cisco, Polycom, or Yealink phone. Again, it's a legitimate virtual phone system on your phone on the go. There's also a nifty little feature up here for notes where you can actually type in and take notes and things like this about the call. And it will actually append these notes to that contact in your caller ID and in your contacts in the Vonage Business Mobile app. So you could say something like, discussed business opportunity or business sale or real estate, sale or property, showing with client on this day, so on and so forth, and save that note, which is kind of nifty for some people. So, anywho, that is in essence, the Vonage Business Mobile app. I'm going to hang up this call, and then I'm going to go over some pros and cons of the app, and then we're going to wrap up this video. So, let's go back to the app so you guys can see it while it's open. Okay, As you can see also, there's my caller ID for the call for myself in twice. The first one I botched up, and then the second one when I answered it. No missed calls, but you get the gist of it. So, again, it's basically a virtual phone system in a box. One thing that I want to point out too before we get into the pros and the cons is I get so many calls, you guys, of people that call me up and say, well, I've been looking at Grasshopper or I've been looking at Call Hippo, all these different new emerged VOIP providers that for whatever reason are named after insects and safari animals are claiming to be the end all and be all, the be all and end all of a virtual phone system. I personally think that the Vonage Business mobile app coupled with Vonage Business's platform is better than a Grasshopper or Call Hippo or all of these other super duper uber extravagantly low priced virtual phone systems because of one reason, because of scalability. With Call Hippo and Grasshopper, you cannot use physical phones. There are many customers that I've worked with that start off with the Vonage mobile app or a virtual phone system like this, and then they grow to a point where it turns into multiple agents or staff members with the mobile app, and then multiple people that need a physical phone on a physical desk or in a call center or at their home office or something like that. Vonage Business gives you the ability, unlike most of these other super low priced virtual phone system things like a Grasshopper or Call Hippo, Vonage Business gives you the ability to start off really, really basic like those guys with the mobile app, but also have the no ceiling issue where you can't use physical phones later if your company grows into needing actual hardware and still the ability to use the mobile app and so on and so forth. So for those of you who are watching that are small business or micro business, I can't stress to you enough why this is a great solution because it's more or less pretty inexpensive. It costs a little bit more than a Grasshopper or a Call Hippo, but the amount of capabilities and things that you have later down the road with it is significantly better as your business grows and its needs and features increase into possibly mobile app for more than one person, as well as also physical phones and hardware and other things like auto attendance and music, more advanced music on hold and call queue and things like that. So anywho, back into the pros. We already covered one, expandability. Let's see here. Okay, so my scenario, which I already explained to you guys, this is actually one of the big pros about the thing. It's the main pro. Ultimate mobility. For those of you who do or don't know, I like to travel. I like to travel back and forth to the Latin Americas, back and forth to Richmond, Virginia. I like to travel to other places like the Bahamas and things like that. I'm a travel kind of person. As long as you are connected to a mobile network or to a Wi-Fi or some sort of 3G, 4G, 5G or LTE network, you can use the Vonage Business mobile app anywhere, and it doesn't cost you anything. I have literally been in places like Costa Rica, the Bahamas, you name it, and gotten a call that came in while I was on Wi-Fi in a hotel or using an international plan to connect to whatever country's carrier and gotten a call on my Vonage Business mobile app and been able to answer it and say, Rich Technology Group, this is Prince speaking, and nobody knew where I was unless I said, oh, hey, I'm in the Bahamas, or oh, hey, I'm in Costa Rica. The Vonage Business mobile app utilizes the internet and utilizes a person's cellular towers, so it doesn't matter where you are. As long as you can connect to service or to Wi-Fi or internet, the app doesn't care where you are, and there's no long distance fees included in using it from anywhere. And you can still take and make calls with the ability of looking like you're calling from your business, from your business's registered number that's published on your website or on whatever marketing material you use. I want to show you guys a quick setting in this thing actually really quick before we go into the one con. Let's go back into the app and I'm going to show you something. So here's the settings. I can put do not disturb on my device, which I don't really want to do, but basically this is do not disturb. If you're, at your kid's ball game or at the doctor's or dentist office or somewhere where you don't want to be bothered, this is the same as do not disturb. You mute this device and it means anybody that calls your, office number or whatever, they're going to go directly to voicemail. Once you unmute that, you're good to go. So you can also mute all devices. Now, the only reason I can do this is because I'm the administrator. I'm the owner of Rich Technology Group, so I'm the administrator of the company. So I can mute all devices, and this will mute all devices on the system. But normally I don't recommend doing that. And you wouldn't have the ability to do that anyways unless you're the owner, super user, or administrator of the company. The one main setting that I want to show you is this. You come in here, you go to call settings, this setting right here that says outgoing data calls. Now, what this is for those of you who may travel, I travel quite a bit. So what I can tell you for those of you who are watching this video is this. The United States, there's no place like the United States when it comes to quality of cellular service. When you're in the United States using the Vonage Business mobile app or any carrier's mobile app for that matter, and this actually gets into the con. So let's move over into the con actually. The con, the only con, which is no fault of Vonage Business, it's just the nature of the technology, is the app, and this is any carrier's mobile app, can seriously suffer from call quality, can suffer some call quality issues depending on where you are and depending on what carrier you're using or whatever. And we're going to wait for this ad to go away and I'll keep explaining. What this basically means is that if you are in an area where the cellular service may not be that good, or you're at a place where your LTE or your 3G service may be non-existent and not that great, this setting comes in handy. By default, this setting is cut on, and what it means is that the phone is going to the mobile app is going to try to utilize your phone's 3G, 4G, LTE, or 5G service with your carrier or with whatever carrier you may be using overseas or whatever to basically use the call, to make the call or to take calls. Now, the reason I bring this up is because, for example, I travel back and forth to Costa Rica, and the cellular service in Costa Rica, especially the 3G, 4G, and LTE, and Costa Rica doesn't even have 5G yet, the service is not that great. So when I'm in Costa Rica, I will turn this off. What this means is that now the app is going to utilize the cellular carriers' towers, which tend to be better quality in foreign countries. It's going to use the cellular service towers to basically handle the transmission and the quality of the call. I have found whenever I'm traveling internationally that this setting works best when off, as long as you've got some sort of international plan with your carrier, whether it be Sprint, T-Mobile, Verizon Wireless, whatever it is, the list goes on and on and on, Metro PCS, whatever. So this differs. For those of you who may not understand this setting, by all means, email me and I can explain this a little better by phone or by email. But this setting is an important one to understand how it works. Now, when you cut this setting on, which is on by default, it also means that it will use Wi-Fi. This means that if you're traveling and you go to, say, a hotel, or you're at a Starbucks in your normal hometown, or Panera Bread, or whatever it may be, somewhere that's got public Wi-Fi, you can connect to Wi-Fi and also make and receive your calls or send and receive text messages through the mobile app over Wi-Fi. Keep in mind, you're always at the mercy of the quality of the carrier or the Wi-Fi provider's quality of service. Now, personally, I have not had very many issues with call quality, but it can happen sometimes. What I recommend is if you're having some issues, change this setting from whatever it is, and then reconnect your call and see what setting works best for you whenever you're at whatever area that you're in. But that's essentially what to understand there. One other thing I want to show you guys, that was the only con is, again, it's not necessarily a issue of the Vonage Business service or any service of whatever carrier's mobile app you may be looking at. It's just the nature of the technology. But Vonage allows for the ability to switch back and forth between what type of network you're going to use your mobile app to transmit data, so that you have a little bit of play and control over, how you wish to make those calls, so that you can control quality to the best of the ability of whatever technology you've got with you. In short, if you use the mobile app at home, I recommend that you connect it to your Wi-Fi. If you're out and about on the go, me personally in the United States, I would recommend that you turn this off and let the app use your cellular carrier's tower technology, because the towers tend to be really good no matter where you go, especially if you're somebody using AT&T or Verizon Wireless or something like that. In short, if you're in a place where it says, you don't have any data like LTE, 3G, 4G, 5G, turn this app off like the way you see it now so you can force the app to use the cell towers. If you're in an area where your LTG, 3G, 4G, or 5G is strong, or LTE, go ahead and cut this on and use it that way. Either way, just play with it and you'll know what to use. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is the call forwarding. From this app, and this is a great feature to have, like if, your office loses power, or for, people in California, you're suffering natural disaster, or whatever it may be. If you need to call forward your calls for your extension on the fly, you can literally just come here to call forwarding and tell it. Send your calls to voicemail, forward all calls, which at that point, it'll ask you to forward to a number. You come in here and tell it what number you want to forward to. Tell it follow me so you can have it go to multiple things, or tell it simultaneous ring where you can have it ring, your desk phone as well as your cell phone, or even ring another cell phone if you've got a separate cell phone or a partner who's maybe you want the calls to go to. In short, you should never be able to miss a call if you use the call forwarding feature in here right. It really is a pick your poison, whatever works for you best. So anywho, let's see here. So that pretty much wraps up my in-depth review of the Vonage Business mobile app. If you're watching this and you already have Vonage Business and you're like, wow, I'd like to use this, it's simple. Call up Vonage Business directly, your rep, tell them, hey, I didn't realize I had access to this app. How do I get it? And they'll actually walk you through installing it. If you're somebody who's watching this right now and you're interested in this mobile app, or you're interested in Vonage Business in general and would like to see a demo from one of the professionals at Vonage Business, I've got direct contacts at Vonage Business. We are a direct dealer for Vonage Business. I've worked with hundreds of companies all across the United States to get set up with their phone system, their mobile app, you name it. My services are free. We are compensated by the service provider. So if you're interested in learning more or would like to get a quote and see whether this would work for your business or not, let me know. Again, Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, your go-to guy for the best deals on business, phone, and internet service in the United States. I'll catch you guys again in the next video.